This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them lang loji, now you got them bongolo. Long time got them lang loji, now you got them bongolo. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them jug lamp, now you got them electric light. Long time got them jug lamp, now you got them electric light. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time full and bucket water, now you got them overhead. Long time full and bucket water, now you got them overhead. Long time full and bucket water, now you got them overhead. Long time full and bucket water, now you got them overhead. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them old man, now you got them young guys. Long time got the old man, now you got them young guys. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them donkey cat, now you got them DeSoto. Long time got them donkey cat, now you got them DeSoto. Long time got them donkey cat, now you got them DeSoto. Long time got them donkey cat, now you got them DeSoto. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time.
Pleasant good evening. Pleasant good evening, brothers and sisters. You're on 107.1 Family Straight Up. I am filling in for Mark Benchcup tonight. And please share the link, tag someone, share it with someone so that we can be able to share and reach as much people we can so that people can be able to have the information that we have to share with them. Pleasant good night again. Welcome, welcome. Tonight we are on 107.1 Straight Up. And I must say that it's a pleasure to be here tonight. And we know that the information that we bring to you tonight will be very, very important, that you will be able to understand what really is happening in Guyana and how we have more than one Guyana operating right now. Please share the link, tag someone so that we can be able to reach more individuals. Those of you who are on radio, listening via radio, welcome. Good night to you guys. And I know that you will be happy after tonight's program. Those of you who are via Facebook and the social media aspect. Welcome, share the link. Good night. Stay tuned. So, as I indicated earlier, I am holding in for my brother Mark Benchcop for tonight, and he's on other duties, and we know that he has been doing a wonderful job in terms of sharing information that you guys need as to what really is happening in all the regions of this beautiful country of ours, and more so, what we need to do to keep ourselves au fait and abreast with us to the developments politically, economically, socially, and whatever way that we can be able to understand what really is happening. So, a lot of things happening in Guyana. Guyana is becoming a state of death now, state of death, deaths. Every single day is a road fatality, a road accident. Every single day is a suicide. Every single day is a murder. And so many terrible things happening in this country. And yet, many of the leaders are, not acknowledging, they're not accepting that we are in a deep, deep mess as it relates to the democracy, as it relates to management of this wonderful nation of ours. Um, as you are aware that there was a protest demonstration a few days ago, and a lot of persons, making so much of comments, positive and negatives. I want to say to all of us that we need to be responsible in what we do. Um, I don't know how we can be able to achieve the one Guyana thing that some people talk about, but when you see and listen to some of the racial comments coming from our Guyanese people, people who have been born and bred in this nation, as a young politician, I am asking myself, will we ever have a nation whereby we can live as brothers? It is very, very tough. It is very tough to be in a country whereby we are so bitter with each other. And I am referring here to my Indians and the Africans, brothers and sisters. The Indian and the Africans. More, that is my target tonight. I want to say to you guys, wherever you are living, whatever may be your activity, this country belongs to all of us. Do not be fooled by the politicians to say that this country belongs to the PPP or the PNC or the AFC. This country belongs to all of us. One people, one nation, one destiny. And the only way we can be able to achieve this, if we hold the politicians accountable. I want to say tonight that because of the social media, a lot of hidden grievances, a lot of hidden discrimination are being brought out. And the anger level, the bias, the prejudicial feelings and statements are all coming out because of the social media. And I want to say that all of us need to be responsible for our actions. And when breaches happen, we must face the consequences. For too long, we have allowed people to think for us, and we need to be very much cognizant of the fact that things need to be fixed in this country. For too long, we have allowed politicians to think for us and say to us what they want us to know. But as the introductory song, the program song indicated, this time not a long time. The days of Comrade Chetty and Comrade Burnham are not current days. Their days were their days, and we need to evolve from those days. I'm saying this to remind us that under their leadership, under their leadership as head for the PNC and the PPP, we have had massive protests in this country. I want to say that protest is something that is not new. Every nation in this world have had some form of protest. Some have led to more than what was anticipated and expected, and some was basically under control. The strength of the police force, the management of the Ministry of Home Affairs, the management of the country will indicate to us if a protest would escalate or not. And I want to say to all of us that things are not right in this country. Many of us are looking from one perspective and from one side. Many of us are looking from one political angle, and this should not be so. When one set of people are enjoying certain privileges and benefits, one set of people are suffering basically. When the hampers are being shared in one village, the other villages skip and they go on to the next one. These are things that cause people to get angry. When the flood relief is given twice in one village and never given in another one, these cause people to be angry. And in the administration of justice in a democratic society, we must treat people fairly. And this is what we need to take into account, that we must hold leaders responsible for what happens in a nation. If we continue to operate where we have who are fortunate and privileged over those who are less fortunate and less privileged, then and that inequality continues to exist, people will start to demand what belongs to them. And if I have been contributing to the growth and development of this country for years and years, and you are not providing the services that I must receive as a citizen of this nation, then you know what will happen. If we are to be fair, or if we are to offer services, then it must be fair across the board. We must not pick and choose, and we must not select events and activities to highlight these forms of undemocratic behaviors. One individual indicated to me that the whole saga of this protest came out because of the death, the killing, the shooting of Quinton Bacchus. And we know that this individual was shot by a police, and people are very much angered and angry as to the slow way in which the process is being, the manner in which the process is being dealt with. People took to the street, and it escalated. I am saying, when we are in a protest, we must be responsible and behave in a manner that will not cause harm to others. Similarly, The state must take responsibility when their functionaries misuse their power. And this is coming to us as a cop, a police shot an individual. Are we saying that any incident, any event, the duty of a police officer is to shoot and kill at spot? Do we have a system whereby we can use rubber bullets and injure the individual and arrest and try? Or do we have a system whereby something goes wrong, you shoot and spot and kill and whatever? So the person responsible for the Guyana Police Force, the Honorable Minister, needs to revisit the entire situation. We can recall not so long ago, under the Granger administration, there was a big protest at Bath, big protest at Bath, whereby police officers were beaten. One police officer from Barbies, from the quarantine, was chopped several times, and the police did not, retaliate in that manner. I'm saying that there needs to be more education on the whole issue of service and protection of the people, and we need to come out from the reactive mode and be a bit more proactive. That is for the law enforcement officers. I want to commend the vendors who have received their payments for damage of properties and items and so forth. Um, it is well that you have received your payment, your reimbursement um, on this set day or the day after. But the big question is, what happened to the flood relief for the other parts of the nation? Why is it that the residents, citizens of this country, are still waiting for their relief months after the flood? Where was this money that was taken out in there 2 days to pay these individuals? How the government acquire these sums of cash so quickly to pay these individuals? And what happened to the budgeted funds, 10 billion, that was set aside by Parliament for the system to take care of all the individuals who had experienced losses because of the massive flood that we had? In my village, Pulbran, many individuals did not receive. The Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, he came and announced that the 100 and something person did not receive from the area. It means then that there is a list, and the list has the names of all the persons who have applied. The list has the names of all the persons who received and the amount that they have received. Why is it that the Honorable Minister cannot publish the list, so that we can see the names of the individuals? There has been complaints about a lot of discrepancy as it relates to who collect on a false pretense. But still, we are waiting for the publication so that we can say to the Honorable and all those who were involved that here what happened. This is wrong. This person named John Public, they even plant grass, but he get 300,000. This one plant nothing, and he get 150. This one never mind sheep, but he get 300,000. And these are the things that we want to say to the media and say to the Parliament, that all these are discrepancies. I'm saying that we need to be very, very careful and cautious as to how we treat our Guyanese people. If you can take out money same day and give to these individuals who have experienced these losses, where is the money for the residents who have experienced damages and losses over actually 1 year? Is something really wrong in the system, or is the way? Is this the way that we operate? That some people suffer over a year because of the delay tactics from the system to confuse and frustrate them. And when something else happens somewhere else, we find the cash right away and we give them. I want to know if the relative, the family of the person, Quindan Bacchus, if any of his family member receive counseling from the state of the day. I want people in authority, the ministers and the member from the police force, the commissioner of police, to answer this question to the public. A member of your staff, a police officer, shot and killed in public, a citizen of this country, whatever may be the circumstances, did the police force, at any time, did the police force offer counseling to the family member? Did the Ministry of Human Services offer counseling to the family member? But we observe that vendors from Mandipo are and will be receiving counseling because of the trauma caused by protesters. The big question is, are we enforcing the disparities? Are we enforcing that one deserves more than the other? We need to be very careful. We need to be very careful how we operate in this country. And as I said earlier, people are observing, people are looking, people are seeing what we are doing. A member of the state, a member from the Guyana police force, shot and killed an individual. And nobody offered counseling to the family. No therapeutic intervention was done. But because of the trauma received by the protesters, because of the protest, they have experienced trauma now. The Honorable went there and said that counseling will be offered. Is it that we offer counseling to one set of people? Or should it be for all? Brothers and sisters, it is very important that we answer these questions. The next question that comes to mind is very, very important. Region 6 versus Region 10 versus Region 5. A few months ago, there was a big situation, big activity, demolishing and destruction of people property in Region 10. The state of the day used heavy duty machinery to pull down houses because they were on state land, state reserve. They did not receive title or lot or allocation or whatever the case may be. They were not owners, but they went on state land and reserve and they built their houses. But we see another scenario in Region 5, whereby many of our brothers and sisters in Region 5 squatting on government reserve. But they were called to a meeting to say, here, Guyana, we're going to regularize you. We're going to fix it up. Why this same system was not used with the people of region number 10? So we need to answer these questions so that we will be able to understand that certain things happening in this country that are not to happen. And we need to be cognizant of the fact that Guyana is under the radar. People from the international community are observing what is happening in Guyana. They are taking notes, and all of us will be held responsible because we are tolerating and permitting certain things to happen under our watch. I want to say that our Guyanese population are very much affected by the high cost of living. For too long, we have endured a steady increase in prices. Steady increase in prices. Every single commodity that we have on the shelf at the supermarket or at the market have actually doubled since this government took office. And one individual from the government came to Port Moran and he was saying that 2011 to 2015, the APNU had the scissors, so they were cutting the budget. And 2015 to 2020, this individual was saying that nothing happened in this country, no development. And 2020 to now, we have 2 years of pandemic. So he's asking for time. They need more time to start the development of this country. Utter nonsense. You see what happened? Certain politicians must find ways and means to continue to fool you as the population, as the Guyanese people. But you must be able to think for yourself. How can a man blame the scissors cutting? They had power. They were in government, even a minority. You had power. You were in government. (2015 to 2020), not a story. But now you come into power again, 2 years, almost 2 years, and you are blaming 2011 to 2015 and 2015 to 2020. And you had 2 years, free budget. And still, things are not going right. Is every way you turn, somebody blaming. Members from this government blaming, continues to blame everybody except themselves. So if you were there for 23 years and you couldn't fix it, and you're back now, who are you blaming? You got to take the blame. You got to say to yourself that we couldn't manage properly. And we see it happening again. The price for all commodities have actually doubled, and it's still going up. Oil producing nation, I think gas is now about 270 per liter in our country. And we are producing for thousands of barrels we are producing a day, and we still have to buy at such a high price. I want to say to all the viewers, listeners, wherever you may be, whatever you are doing, continue to stay on track with what is happening in this country. Do not lose hope. Do not lose focus. We know that we will put systems in place to ensure that you receive all that you deserve. We must be able to understand that what is happening now is poor management. And you must say it to them. When these politicians come to the area, you must say to them, ask them why. We're paying for water every day, and the pressure, we got to beg it. It cannot run in the shower. So you got to pump the water to the tank every single day, or every 2 day, or 2 3 times per week. Double expense. You're paying for water, you got to pay for more electricity to pump it up. Everything this government is bringing to us is bringing it at a cost. So we have had so many campaign promises, and this is directly to the PPP supporters, because we know that nothing proper will come to the after supporters. We know that the way how the government operates, we see what is happening. So what happened to the VAT? What happened to the bridge? What happened to the education? What happened to the jobs? What happened to these things? Are they just promises? And what happened to the estates? Is the estate just another fiction of some people's imagination? I saw a friend of Guyana, a person who is being considered to be a friend of Guyana, a leader from one of the Caribbean country, I think Barbados. She closing down sugar factory in her country. She closing down sugar factory in her country, but having land in our country, thousands of acre. You know, but we know what happened. We know what happened. A lot of promises must be fulfilled, but promises not for Guyanese. So I am saying to my Guyanese brothers and sisters, those of you who are in the Gaisuku Corporation, the Guyana Sugar Corporation, the estates, try get yourself a new skill, educate yourself. The PPP don't have the skills and the know-how and the ability to restart these factories. So get your little work, collect your little money, but save it because you must go to plan B. You must go to plan B. We have indicated to the PPP, instead of wasting the money further on Gaisuku, build the dams, convert the dams into road, and give every sugar worker half acre of land. So once the dams are converted into all-weather roads, and that's the main, and you have the land divided into plots of half acre, you give every sugar worker half acre or an acre of land so that they can produce for us for local consumption and for export. And then the government of the day need to reintroduce canning of products. So all the vegetables we can can it ourselves. All the vegetables we can have canned stuff in terms of the vegetables by itself into peas, cubes, and whatever, and we have juice. So we can purchase our own tomato juice in our own can, produce and package in Guyana, and we can export that. We had a system here on a Comrade Burnham. We had a system here under Common Burnham whereby we were canning, we were putting juice into tins right here in Guyana. It was located in Blackbush Boulder. You ask who broke it down, and then you're gonna know who. They break it down to bring tin stuff from overseas. So I'm saying to all of us, instead of depending on importation alone, why can't we produce that we can have to use for all these other areas? Gaisuku workers, sugar workers, and all those of you who are attached to the estates, you must ask the politicians these questions. When will we have a piece of land that we can utilize for production of crops, vegetation, fruits, and what have you? Because we know, and you know as well, that it is hard for sugar to come back. If you have your children, don't say to them that they must go and serve the field alone. Try get them an education so that they can be able to better themselves in terms of their earning abilities. I have known many individuals who spent all their life in the fields, and when before they retire, they die. Some of them, after they retire, that was it. I'm saying to you, you have served in so many capacity in the cooperation. Do you want your children and grandchildren to go there in sun and rain to do that? We need to have forward thinking. If we are exporting all these tin juice that we can harness here and tin here and can here, what is the big deal with sugar? Let us go to the diversification. Give these people the opportunity to earn for themselves. There was a time whereby Guyana was very, very much integral in leading the Caribbean in its production in terms of goods and services. We used to export to many Caribbean nations because we had a good and a firm standing in terms of production of green and vegetables and fruits and so forth. That brings me to the topic that many of us do not know about, and it is about Caricom, which is the Caribbean community. And this was started in the 70s. Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados. These four great nations have decided, under the leadership of LFS Burnham, that we need to have a hub whereby our Caribbean countries can be able to trade and exchange goods and services among ourselves. And this came into being with the formation of a Caribbean community. The acronym is Caricom, which is to tell us that we can have an organization whereby all of our nations are listed, are members, and we can be able to trade among ourselves and earn as much as we can. So I think somewhere in 1973, it came into being, whereby four nations, Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados, signed the agreement. And today we have 15 countries, 15 nations um, making the Caribbean community or Caricom. And this is important. Um, I think 15 countries, Suriname joined in 98, and Haiti was the last to join in 2020. Yes, 2022, I think. 20, yes. Haiti was the last to join. And this is to say to all of us that we need to be able to recognize that we have the potential and the ability to do a lot for ourselves. If in 1973, the leaders for Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados pool their intellectual capacities together to form this Caribbean community so that the Caribbean can be a better place, it means then they had a vision for all of us. But we have allowed discrimination and greed and bias and prejudice to flourish over the aim of trade, friendship, production, and harmony. And now we are at this state. Sometime there has been complaint, not sometime, many times, our brothers and sisters have complained that when they go to some other country, they are treated very badly. And when they come to our nation, you know, we treat them with so much of respect and so forth. I want to say to all of us that we are part of the Caribbean. Politically, we are part of the Caribbean. Geographically, we are in South America. But because of our link politically to the Caribbean, we have we have the capacity and the ability to contribute to a wider community. We must also take into consideration that we can trade via South as well as the Caribbean country. And it is time for the leaders to be able to understand that Guyana can be able to harness its potential in terms of production. We need to be able to understand that Guyana can continue and reignite the concept of being the breadbasket for the Caribbean. For too long, we have imported so many stuff that does not bring us good, basically. We have so much here that we can ensure that we produce more, and our population can be able to enjoy and more so export whatever way possible. Caribbean community was there to show us that we can be able to benefit in so many ways. We have a system whereby our children passing through school write the CSEC examination, or what we call the CXC examination. That is a recognized piece of paper around the world. Also, we are involved in the CAPE, the advance that we will say, that have a lot of weighting in many Caribbean country and non-Caribbean member states. Also, we need to take into consideration that we have We have a series of universities around the Caribbean, Guyana, and the University of the West Indies, and other nations. And these institutions have produced fine individuals who are very much successful in all parts of the world. I am saying this to you that the Caribbean community or Caricom has a lot more to do for the growth and development for all member states. And it is the duty of Caricom to continue to ensure that the core founding principles need to be looked at and need to be achieved so that we can be able to understand that Guyana can further and continue to contribute to the growth and development of the Caribbean community and more so to the wider world. I am saying to all of us that it is time that we put aside our biases. It is time that we put aside our differences and work together so that we can be able to achieve one people, one nation, one destiny. And more so, let us do not listen to the derogatory comments made by a few uneducated and person who do not think about the future of this land. To all those individuals who are very much idle in terms of their lifestyle and they do not have anything meaningful to do, please find something that can contribute to your growth and your development and more so to that of your community and country at large. And before you take the cell phone and the gadgets and post some nonsense on the social media and so, try to do something better than that that will help you to make you a better individual. For the past couple of weeks, we have been seeing a lot of things being posted up via Facebook and WhatsApp and Messenger and Twitter and all these things and TikTok and so. Let us try to be responsible as a people. Let us try to be responsible as a nation so that we can be able to achieve the purpose of having one people, one nation, one destiny. So Monday will be a holiday for us. First Monday in July. First Monday in July, which is Caricom Day or the Caribbean Community holiday. A day that we reflect on the contribution of the four founding fathers, basically, of the formation of the Caribbean community, 1973, and we need to ask ourselves a question: have we really achieved the outcome that we set in those? Have we really achieved the outcome of those objectives that we set back then in 1973? And if we have not done so, the leaders of the Caribbean community, the Caricom, need to get on board so that all nations can be independent, self-sufficient, and more so produce enough to export and have more. So ensure that you enjoy your holiday Monday. It's a time that we use to reflect, and all the nations, all the 50 nations of the Caribbean community are experiencing great difficulty. Now we need to get back as nations, and I'm saying more so as a Guyanese nation. We need to take a step backward and look as to where our shortcomings are and work on it so that we can move forward with the growth and development of this wonderful nation. So that's on the Caribbean community. I am saying now to the person responsible, the relevant ministers responsible for the day-to-day running of the various ministries of this country. Um, Number one, infrastructure. For too long, we have tolerated and permitted our children to walk and continue to walk in slush and mud dams to schools and other activities. We still have in this country, in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, oil producing nation, children walking in mud dam, through mud dam, on mud dams to get to school. I said last time that we need to take a look as to where these big dignitaries and functionaries, where they operate and where they walk and where they drive. You will see what happens. So we see that there are two set of people operating: those that have and those that put those who have in power, and those who put them in power still remain without. When will the disparity bridge? When will we have equality? I don't know. You have that power, the voters. So if you have voted for this individual and you're still working in Madam, you vote for him this election, and then you vote for him another election, and then you vote for him again another election. You need to do what you need to do, right? And what you need to do is to vote him out. I can see why we have so much money to give in so many other areas, and we can do the infrastructural work that our people can be able to benefit. That is number one. Number two, Barbies Bridge. It was a promise that the Barbies Bridge the fare will drop. We don't want the fare to drop on big truck alone. We don't want the fare to drop on canter with sand and stone. We want the fare to drop on all vehicle, all classes of vehicle. I don't know when the cars will pay $1,000 and the minibuses will pay $1,000. But that is the way it should be. We have a little bridge here, costs more than many other countries. The cost to cross Barbies Bridge is more than half of the country around the world, with their bridge that is one time, two time, three time, 10 times longer than this what we that we have here. Something is wrong. Three, VAT. We must remind the PPP that the PPP brought VAT in this country. There has been a lot of story about David Arthur Granger and the VAT saga. A lot of blames they try to put. But who brought the VAT? Who were juicing the blood out of the people? The agents of who brought the VAT. Bringing VAT to the country was one of the worst thing ever happened to our nation. The poor people continues to suffer. So we must remind the people that PPP brought VAT, not APNU. David Arthur Granger and APNU AFC did not bring VAT to this country. VAT came under the PPP. And we are hoping that PPP will squash it out, because we have a lot of oil money now. The oil money can replace the VAT. The poor people need to be relief of this burden. So, brothers and sisters, you must hold these politicians responsible for the things that they are doing. And we want to say to all who are listening and viewing wherever you may be, Guyana belongs to us. And we must stop the nonsense of having more benefit to one sector of the country, more benefits to one community, and little or nothing to the other community. We must be fair in our distribution of resources, especially state resources, so that every single individual, every Guyanese can be able to benefit. So thank you very much for tuning in, 107.1 family. Um, just fitting in for Mark Bench Cup tonight. And I hope that you have received information that is very much pertinent to what is happening in Guyana. I want to close off with increase in suicide, domestic violence, and murder. We are too small and a tiny nation for us to have so many suicides. And I hope the message can be taken to the Honorable Minister for Human Services. We are a tiny nation, a handful of 750,000 people to have a suicide actually every day. This is nonsense, utter nonsense. We can't tolerate this. What systems do we have in place to help these people? We must stop making the show and get to the work. We need people to be on the ground to provide the services that are needed. That is one. Two, murder. Because of lack of coping skills, because of lack of avenues, because of lack of education and skills and programs and systems in place to help educate people further and have to give them a skill, people stay in abusive relationship and some end up being dead. If we had systems in place that in every community, every NDC, every community center, you have a program there to educate and empower people, then we would avoid all these domestic violence and deaths and abuse. So brothers and sisters, please, I am asking you, if something is bothering you, seek some form of help. Make contact with some counselor, some police, nurse, probation, welfare, child protection, teacher, community leader, find someone to talk to. And if you do that, then we can be able to save more lives. 2015 to 2020, we tried to keep suicide under control, and that happened. Let us go back to the drawing table and find out what was done during that time and try to put it into practice now. Let us stop playing politics with people's lives. Suicide is serious business. Our young people are dying every day, and we are not doing what we must do, should do, and ought to do. Instead of helping the young people, we blame someone, and we blame this political figure, and we blame this administration. And we who have the authority are not putting systems in place. So, brothers and sisters, thank you for showing in. 107.1, those on radio, Facebook, all the medias, thank you very much for having me tonight. And see you Tuesday for the Dinesh Prashad show. Tuesday, 8 o'clock, we will have a park program, and we take it from there. So enjoy your Caricom Day, Monday. Do celebrate with caution, care, and know your limit. All the best. God bless you. Enjoy the weekend. So long. Thank you.